Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. It's Brother Malak. And hopefully everyone is doing wonderful today. I want to do something a little different, family. I seen this video by this brother by the name of B'nai Israel, I want to say. Hopefully I didn't butcher the brother's name up. And he done an excellent breakdown using the Inquisition, showing how during the time of the Inquisition, the people that were exiled were our people, people of Negroid descent. So what I want to do is I want to go get those references and do my part in sharing this information, because many times when we talk about the Spanish Inquisition or the exile of our people out of Spain and Portugal, many times the status quo is that the people that are in those lands are these so-called Ashkenazi Jews, these European people. So what I want to do again today is cite the sources this brother put out there to show that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that our ancestors were the people over there in those lands. We've used the Bible. The Bible is always the main source. Let's put that out there first. The Bible is always the main source, but many times when we try to explain to our people, by way of the Bible, they really can't see it in many cases, or they just they won't accept it. So we're gonna get some information or some literature during the time of the Inquisition to show that that the Jews, in fact, are people of color, people of Negroid descent. So I want to start off first of all by giving all glory and honor to the Creator of the universe, the Heavenly Father Yah, and to His Son Yeshua HaMashiach. And I'd like to also send out a greeting to the brothers and sisters that are pushing this truth, trying to wake up the lost sheep. And I'd like to also send out a special greeting to the Gentiles that are listening and learning, and also help pushing this information, pushing this gospel, this good news. To you guys, I say shalom. So the first part I want to start off in is in Wikipedia, dealing with the island that the Portuguese discovered, the island of Saint Thome and Principe. The Democratic Republic of Saint Thome and Principe is an island country in the Gulf of Guinea, off the western equatorial coast of Central Africa. It consists of two archipelago, I guess that's how you pronounce it, around the two main islands of Saint Thome and Principe, about 140 kilometers apart, and about 225 and 250 and 225 kilometers of the northwestern coast of Gabon. The islands were uninhabited until the discovery by the Portuguese explorers in the 15th century. Okay, so we see the connection that the Portuguese discovered these islands off the coast of Central Africa, generally colonized and settled by the Portuguese throughout the 16th century. They collectively served as a vital commercial and trade center for the Atlantic slave trade. So again, showing you that this was one of the central locations where the Portuguese used for slavery and for trade. So I had to start here to lay down a foundation, So now let's go to the first source. The first source we're going to go to is it's called The Jews of Spain and Portugal in the Inquisition. And it's written by this gentleman, Frederick David. I think he was born from 1828 to 1905. Let me see when the book was published. Let's see when it's published. Family, give me a second. Looked like the book was published in 1877, so this is an old book. It's an old book. This book is over 100 years old. Over 100 years old. And a lot of the sources that are going to get are going to be really old sources, because a lot of the new books that are redacted, they don't have this information in there, you know, because they're trying to really hide this information. A lot of these old books are either outdated. When I say outdated, they're just not being published anymore, or they're rare, or they're so expensive that most of us can't, you know, we can't afford them. But, you know, $10, $12, $14,000, even higher. So anyway, let's go to this book. Well, I'm going to go to page 56, and I'm just going to read bits and pieces, right? Mainly just, you know, main sources I think that are very vital. I mean, there's other chapters or other pages you may use for reference if you choose to, or what have you. But again, this information, we should use this information to educate ourselves, number one, and to enlighten others, and number two, you know, as far as those that are still non-believers, you know, and again, they just don't want to see it, you know. But anyway, let's read. I'm going to the second paragraph. Thus was Spain deprived of her large Jewish population. The synagogues were purified and used as Christian churches. Let me stop for a second. This is one of the things that really troubled me as I started really reading a lot of these sources and studying a lot of these sources. The role that the Christian church played. Here it is, the so-called Christian church was one of the main I want to say main organizations, the main I guess facilities, whatever you want to call it. They were one of the main people, some of the main people that was behind enslaving the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even call it a so-called Christian organization or spiritual organization, because they knew who we were from the beginning. So it's even hard to even put these people in a category. But anyway, with that being said, let's read further. The vast sum of money which were owed to the Jews, and the still large amounts which they were forced to leave behind them, found their ways partly into the hands of the debtors. And it's going to explain as we go further about the debtors, and I'm going to try to break this down. What they mean, the debtors, you know, because again, it's still fulfilling prophecy, fulfilling the prophetic nature of the Bible. Excuse me, or still more into those of the sovereign. The chief professor of medicine were sent out of the country, to the terrible inconvenience of the population. And I'm going to the next page. And trade industry languished till they almost died. Unfortunately, at the time of the expulsion, the plague was raging in Castile. Again, one of the things that really stuck out with me was the plague, dealing with the plague, what they called the Black Plague at that time, you know. And we see this so-called pandemic going on right now, and you see the main people they're focusing on with this pandemic is our people. Again, this is why they wanted to vaccinate Africa. You know, even though Africa had, you know, some of the smallest amount of cases, even smaller amount of deaths versus so-called European nations. But anyway, let's read further. And the fugitive brought with them the disease, propagating it wherever they went, and not unnaturally causing their advent to be viewed with loathing and horror. This circumstance induced King John to hasten their departure from Portugal, for which purpose ships were daily provided according to the agreement. But such was the temper of the captains and sailors that they subject the Jews to the hardest possible conditions. They plundered them of their goods and valuables, even to their very clothes, and landed them naked and bare on bare of everything on barren points of the African coast, leaving them to die of starvation or to be sold into slavery to the Moors. This is again why I said earlier about our people being not only converted into Christianity but into Islam. You know, saying our people are Muslims because the Moors enslaved our people too. You know, saying the Muslims enslaved our people too, as well. You know what I'm saying? So again, you know what I'm saying? You know, it just shows you the prophetic nature of the Bible being fulfilled. You remember in Deuteronomy when it said that you shall serve gods that were not known, but the gods that you will serve would be of wood and of stone. You know, that wood cross in Christianity, and that rock now in Mecca, that stone, whatever they want to call it in Mecca. Anyway, let's read further. Nor was this all. The king rested for their parents all the children, the age of 3 and 10 between the ages of 3 and 10 of those Jewish immigrants who from poverty or otherwise had omitted to pay the captation tax on entering. Again, they had to pay a tax to enter into Portugal after they was kicked out of Spain. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this again, you know what I'm saying, not only, you know, the taxes, but even just to survive, you know, our people borrowed money from these people. And like the scripture says, you know what I'm saying, you know, he shall be the head and you shall be the tail. You know, he shall lend to thee, but you shall not lend to him. You know, again, fulfilling prophecy. You know what I'm saying? The Most High word goes linear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just, you know, and a lot of our people just don't really even see, you know, some of the same things. Well, not even some, all of the same things are happening to us as a people, even today. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's the first source. So letting you know that the Portuguese took our ancestors, dropped them off the coast of Africa, and what area was that? That was we read in the definition the island of Saint Tome and Principe, which is off the central coast of Africa. You know, again, you know what I'm saying? So these are sources that again predate, you know, I mean, they go back, you know, 100 years, even more, you know what I'm saying? So let's get this other one. Where is it? Let me go back, family. Okay, this is another source that I have. It's called The Jews and Moors in Spain. It's written by Joseph, and I might be butchering this gentleman's last name up, is Koshikov. He was born between 1858 and he died around about 1923. Let me see when this book was published. This book was published in 1887. So again, this book is over 100 years old. Let me see if I can enlarge it, because a lot of these words are very, very small, man. Enlarge it just a little bit. And I'm going to go to page 214. Remember, the name of the book is The Jews and Moors in Spain. Page 214, right? 214, I'm going to start off towards the beginning of this page. Because of the visitation of the plague. Remember, we read in the last book there was a plague that was going on around this time. Again, and it's the sources saying the same thing, talking about the plague, and that plague happened to be called the Black Plague. But anyway, the Black Death. A visitation of the plague and the breach of contract on the part of the Jews. The breach of contract was, again, the taxation. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know, showing these sources are lining up, you know, and it's saying the same thing, you know, and again, it's not only saying the same thing, but it's fulfilling the prophecy according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Reading further, the king's creed awakened again simultaneously with the reawakening of his greed. He issued an edict which withdrew even that of Talcomedia into the shade. All Jewish children below 14 years of age were torn from their parents' arms, dragged into the churches, baptized. Those under 3 years of age were given to Christians to receive a Christian education, or in other words, to be raised as slaves. Again, and the sad thing about it is the so-called Christian church, Catholicism, Christianity, the Catholic Church was one of the main entities behind this, and they will issue an apology, but nobody will give you any kind of remedy, or or give back the money and the land and the gold and silver and all the other things that came with that, Again, but our people nowadays willingly converting to Christianity, whether it's Baptist, whether it's Presbyterian, whether it's Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever. Again, this is why I made the video, the conversion of the children of Israel, and I don't think a lot of people really got it. I think a lot of people still in their feelings when it comes down to talking about their precious church, their precious religion. But anyway, I'm going to jump over to page 215, and I'm going to start off like at the next sentence. Childless and broken-hearted, they now sought to leave the land, but they were told that they had forfeited their rights, and they were given the choice between baptism and slavery. The sad thing about this, again, family, I hate to keep interrupting, because it just really remind me of other things, like the Christian black codes that was in the I think 1724. So again, it just shows you this was going on not only in the 14th century, because I think that's when the Inquisition happened. Even though this book was written in the early 19th century, whether it was 1887, something like that. But this was happening also in the during the transatlantic slave trade, during the in the Americas, right? People had a choice to convert into Christianity. Matter of fact, they didn't have a choice. They were slaves and they were Christians. That's the only way. The popular belief was that's the only way they could get any kind of salvation. The audacity of these people. But anyway, let's read further. Thousands after enduring all they did, after leaving their beloved Spain. Okay, because again, this is before they went to Portugal, right? Going into Spain now, and all their wealth and ease, submitted to baptism now, in the hope of being reunited with their children. Thousands were sold as slaves, yet prior to their being sold, they were submitted to torture, cruelties, outrageous, to revolting, to repulsive, to heart-rendering, to be here narrated. In other words, our people were subjugated to such a horrific atrocities that even the writer of the story don't even want to tell you how bad it was. Terror seized upon the native Portuguese Jews when they helplessly beheld the cruelties to which the Spanish brethren were subject to. They knew they themselves could not escape the wrath of the church much longer, and they thought of flight, and well had it been for them had they made their escape then. Because again, there was time for them to leave out of Spain, because the Spanish government was really tightening down on our people. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is another source. So let's go to another source. Let's get another source. The name of this source is called A New Voyage to Italy with Curious Observations on several other countries. Okay, hold on. And I think this guy name is Maximilian Mission. That's how you pronounce it. He died from 1650 to 1722. This book was published in 1739. I'm going to go to page 139, family, 139, and I'm going to start off at maybe the second sentence on the top of that page. A lot of this stuff is written in this Old English too, so some of these words are kind of like, you know, you have to really look at them because the S's look like J. So bear with me. The Jews at Rome are very poor. Those who are poor are always nasty, and those who are nasty usually stink. This is the mystery. Tis also a vulgar error that the Jews are all black, for this is only true of the Portuguese Jews. So then you know that the Portuguese Jews, again, this is another source saying that the Portuguese Jews were black. You know, people, certain people, man, it's not just so-called Caucasians, but there are certain people, certain melanated people, people of Negroid descent hate to even hear that. I mean, they just get upset. Well, it's not even about color and blah. It's sad, man. But anyway, let's read further. This is only true of the Portuguese Jews, who marrying always among one another, begot children like themselves, and consequently the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon their whole race, even in the northern region. But the Jews who are originally of Germany, again, because again, the mindset that's conventional wisdom put out that the Jews that are in Germany, the ones that they were talking about, were these Ashkenazi Jews. No, they were converts. This is why, again, you know, it's the mindset from my understanding, Hitler was saying, since you want to be Jews, I'm going to put you in this oven. Now, a lot of people, I didn't say it, you know, again, that's what was allegedly rumored, you know what I'm saying? If I'm out of context, misquoting, forgive me. But again, those Jews during the Holocaust, you know, were converts. The real Jews that were in Germany, let's read what it says. Those, for example, I have seen at Prague are not blacker than the rest of their countrymen. Again, let you know that the people, the Jews of Spain and Portugal, you know, and not even just of not just of Spain and Portugal, or France, of England, you know, all those European nations, the Jews, the original Jews were melanated people of Negroid descent. The so-called Ashkenazi Jews are convert. Matter of fact, Ashkenaz is the grandson of Noah. He's a great grandson of Noah. He's the grandson of Ham. I mean, not Ham, Salak, of Japhet. Excuse me. You know, he's the grandson of Japhet. I think he's Gomer's son, if I remember correctly. But anyway, family, I'm gonna stop it there. I just want to share this quick video with you guys. Hopefully, you know, you enjoyed the information and you share with your loved ones.